everybody. If you are listening to this bit, you are probably watching on a replay somewhere rather than live, because it takes a few minutes to get everybody in to the live with a slight delay. I hope you're all having a great day, whatever you're doing, whenever you are watching this. It's been a little while since I've been live. It's lovely to be back here. Hi Becky, welcome. Hi Rachel, lovely to see you. Rachel's going to be joining us in a moment to have a little talk and see what her experience is like on the WorkJoy Way programme. So we're just waiting for a couple of people to join in. For those of you that have just popping on this live and have not seen anything before, I'm Beth Stallwood. I'm the founder of Create WorkJoy. Hi Chris. I am really excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit more about some of the things that we're doing in Create WorkJoy, all the different strands of it, and to have Rachel joining us. Rachel, fantastic person, and I can't wait for you to hear her story and everything that she has worked on and worked through in terms of the WorkJoy stuff. So before I invite Rachel to come and join us to have our chat, and she's clearly the main event today, I'm like the warm-up act. I just wanted to give you a quick update on some of the WorkJoy stuff. Where are we at? We're on week 2 of season 3 of the WorkJoy Jam podcast. This week is all about writing and how it can really help your brain, help you in business. And it's a really great session that I had with Alison Jones, who is a publishing partner. She's a really great thinker, podcaster herself. So do go and have a listen to that. We've got 9 episodes in this 3rd season of the year. And this week, in fact on Friday, I start recording for season 4. How did that happen? A podcast that started in February this year, going into season 4, which will be there in the new year, probably February time. I've got quite a few to record, and I'm lining up some amazing people. I've got people who are experts in digital wellness. I think something that many of us feel we need a little bit more help with. I've got athletes. I've got people who look at how we can be more environmentally conscious in our workplaces, in our organisations, and loads more to come. So very excited. And again, I love it when people get in touch and tell me who I should talk to. Tell me more. I can see Chat's just joined. Hi, or welcome, Chat. We also have the WorkJoy Way programme, and last week was our 2nd group coaching session. And in the programme, you get 4 group coaching sessions. I'm sure Rachel will talk a bit more about it. And we had a really lovely group coaching session, loads of support for each other. We were talking about things that, like our squads and the stories, including the stories we tell ourselves, whether they are true or not. So a really lovely group session there. And this week, they're kind of diving into the experiment, which is all about goals. So love it. Hi, chat. Lovely to see you here. Welcome. And then the 3rd update I wanted to give you was around Club WorkJoy, which is the newest thing from the Create WorkJoy family. It's an amazing community. I am totally loving it so far. We're only about 3 weeks into it launching. There's loads of questions going on in there, people supporting each other. And actually on Friday, we have Chet, who is just on the line, joining us for our first of our monthly guest speaker. So Chet is an incredible author, thinker, business coach, generally just an all-round wonderful human being, who I read his book. It's on my other desk, Work Worth Doing, last year. And then I was like, I really need Chet to be on the podcast. So I kind of chased him down and said, Chet, will you come and be on the podcast? And to my surprise, he said yes. And since then, I think the rest is a bit of history. We have really connected on things. Chet works a lot with entrepreneurs. I work a lot with employees, but there's so much connection between our work. We absolutely love it. And on Friday, we are going to be talking about values and how to develop them, how to understand them, how to work within them. So I'm really excited about that. So if you aren't in the club yet, come join the club and join our wonderful speakers. So once a month we have a speaker. The lineup is incredible. You can find more at it at clubworkjoy.com or on the normal Create WorkJoy website. So they're the 3 really, really quick updates for you. What I wanted to do now is to invite Rachel to come and join me. And this is where I have to remember how to do this, and where you all have to forgive me for a moment whilst I remember. Here we go. Invite. Hoping that invite has come to you and that in a moment you will be popping in. It works. I love it when this technology works. I'm just going to say thanks, chat, for the nice colour coordination comment. I did try hard on this one today. And Becky saying she's really excited for Friday's Club WorkJoy event. Me too. Rachel, you're in the club as well.
I know. Can I just say I'm really excited for Friday's session because I came across Chet's book a while ago and it's been on my book list. I haven't read it yet. So I'm super excited that Chet's in the group and is going to be chatting on Friday.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for coming on and joining me today. It's so lovely to have you here. And what I'd love to do is just to chat to you, get you to talk to me, get to talk to everybody about some of your experience kind of engaging with all the stuff that is Create WorkJoy. And you've got so involved with all of it. I'm so grateful for you because you are one of our early people trying and testing a little guinea pig out on the WorkJoy Way program. But before we dig into that, can you tell people a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Rachel. So maybe start from the beginning. So we and Beth first met at the LTA. Guess probably what, 7 years ago, maybe? I don't know, probably more than that.
Probably even more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, probably more than that actually. So I know Beth from previous working together at the LTA. I now work for Sky in a completely different type of organisation, different type of role, and find myself catch myself kind of just sometimes talking a completely different language to a few years ago, which takes me by surprise when I think about it. So I've been on quite a career journey the last few years, which is probably what I do at Sky. So I'm a product lead. I work in product management for a team called Discovery and AI team, which is as techy as it sounds. I don't have a tech background. In really simplistic terms, what I do is essentially help customers find content on Sky platforms through search and voice search features, through automated content that you see on the UI, through like personalized recommendations and some other features that power that. So basically all the capabilities behind your screen that kind of get the content onto your screen. And yeah, had one of my biggest WorkJoy moments a couple of weeks ago when we launched Sky Glass, which you might have heard about because it's been marketed everywhere.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, that must be Rachel's big secret thing that she's been working on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you've known there's been a big secret thing I can tell you about for the past 2 years. So that's been really exciting. It's really cool to work on something that's like obviously kind of quite a splash in the market. But yeah, and then outside of work, I'm I guess a bit like everyone else really, sort of usual hobbies, fitness, and traveling. Obviously can't travel at the moment, but looking forward next time we can. Married to my beautiful wife Jen. And yeah, we're I know I'm not gonna say actually, don't know who's watching. I was going to say something else. But be careful because there's some people I haven't told what's else happening in our life right now. So anyway, we'll keep that for now. Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it when you say like a bit into fitness. I remember, if I remember rightly, you're training to be a yoga teacher.
Yes, so one of the goals that came out of the WorkJoy program was, well, when we're setting our goals, I didn't have anything like too massively immediate, but I had a kind of a pipe dream, as Beth well knows, to maybe one day run like a wellness retreat in the countryside, teaching yoga and, you know, cooking good food, that kind of stuff. And it's obviously quite a way off, but we kind of broke it down to kind of like what are the small things that you can do now in that time that you have to kind of like work towards it, even if it might be 15, 20 years away. So yes, no, one of those things I'm already a PT, which I actually got to use. I never used the qualification before, but I got to use it thanks to COVID. Not sure that's a good thing or not, but when COVID happened, I managed to run. I ran PT sessions every morning with Sky colleagues. I did that for 14 months, literally 5 days a week. Then done 3 and then 2. But yeah, so then I signed up to a yin yoga teaching course. So I'm kind of halfway through that at the moment as well.
Becky's saying on here, love the idea of a wellness retreat, and I know I've told you before, I will very happily be your first client. I'd love to come to it. It sounds amazing, and I think you'd be amazing at running it as well, so love it. And thank you for kind of sharing who you are and what you do.
Can I say hi to Steve?
Of course you can.
Hi Steve.
Hi Steve, lovely to see you. So the question I next have, and your answer might be because I asked you to, but I maybe look a bit beyond that, is kind of what made you sign up to do the WorkJoy Way program?
Yeah, it was because it wasn't just because you asked me to. It was because you asked me, but I also knew, having worked with you and how you'd helped me previously in some stuff when we worked together, that, you know, I would get a lot of value out of it. So I think there's probably 3 things that motivated me to definitely take part. The first one would be that at the time I was finding it very challenging, the fact that I kind of spanned so many plates, always like focus switching, and often didn't feel in control. I could make a plan for the day, but by nature of working technology and working on live products, things can go wrong, and it completely ruin any plans that you had at the end of the day, essentially. And I was kind of struggling with that a little bit, and not finding that I was getting like important work done, and then always feeling like I was a bit on the back foot. And yeah, it's an experience before, like when I just hadn't been in a role that was doing that many things at one time before. I would have normally had a bit more control of what I was doing. So there was that. I think the second thing was, as I know is a common thing, is imposter syndrome. I definitely suffered a lot more with it previously. I think, I know it's not a gender thing, but I think as women, obviously it's often more prevalent, get it that right. And I think also being in product management, you're kind of like this generalist in a specialist world, which kind of like makes that imposter syndrome even worse. So I'm working with super smart people all the time, like data scientists and engineers and, you know, really creative designers and stuff. And kind of product roles, you're like a conduit between the business, the technology, and the customers and stuff. So you kind of need to know a little bit of everything, but you're not really a complete specialist, you know, really focused on one discipline. So yeah, I think just being surrounded by people that are, you know, clearly very smart was and then I think the third one was just like actually committing to kind of carve out time to think about development, which, you know, I think people, you know, always, you know, a lot of people want to, but actually actually making that time is quite difficult. So actually committing to a program where you're going to be held accountable is, I think, quite useful.
Yeah, like where, you know, where every 4 weeks I'm going to go, have you done that?
Yeah, exactly.
You done what you said you were going to do. Great, thank you. And it's really interesting, isn't it, those 3 different things. And I'm laughing slightly about you saying about all these like really intelligent, clever people that you work with, and thinking, but you're one of those super smart, clever, intelligent people. You just have a different type of role, like that, spinning many plates, going between different people. That's a role that requires loads of skills, doesn't it? It's just not like deep in one area.
Yeah.
So I'll give yourself a bit more credit on that.
I know, and I know this. You tried to do this a lot for the last year.
So tell me, or tell everyone else, not me, how the program worked for you, and maybe a little bit about the different elements of it and what you got out of them.
Yeah. So I thought the balance was like, I think you nailed the balance quite well in terms of obviously you've got group sessions, you had one-on-one sessions with yourself, and then the individual tasks to go away and work on, and then sometimes bring back to the group or yourself to talk through. So I think that was good. I think, you know, the having that support network, the group sessions is really valuable, and also making those connections as well. So yeah, I mean, I found, you know, there was a number of tasks. I think there's a couple that stood out to me as being most beneficial. I mean, they were all useful, but I think there's a couple that were most beneficial. The first one that you kick off with, which is I forget what you call it, but basically when you're a task where you basically map out, well, no, you track your week and you're kind of noting down everything that gives you joy, everything that gives you gloom, and that just kind of started to, like, I guess, make you understand, like, the things that are making you, you know, bring you joy in the day, but also then obviously you're starting to create patterns, where you look for patterns and how can you create more of those, cultivate more of those moments. And actually, I was looking back at the exercise for this, and it was actually quite useful to see what I'd written down. It was probably a year ago now, right? Because I'm kind of at I'm kind of considering my next move internally, potentially, and reminding myself of what are the things that I, you know, bring me joy at work, and what I, get a kick out of, is actually quite useful to think about maybe what direction I take or don't take in terms of the type of roles I'm looking at. So that's been really, really good. Any more? Should I keep going?
Yeah, I'm going to say about that is, like, it's so interesting because it's a really simple experiment, that first one. It's literally just track it, and so many people come back and say, actually, that's one of the things that makes the biggest difference, is really understanding what it is, versus, like, at the end of the day going, I don't know what's happened today. Really thinking about it can make a massive difference. And I think you said there was another activity that you found really useful as well.
I found it really cathartic as well, the story piece, so writing our story. And that helped with the imposter syndrome objective, because essentially we're reflecting on the whole of our career, or whole of our sort of, you know, previous, our experience, really, not necessarily our working career. And it would kind of, you just don't often take that time to think about all the things that you have done, and all the unique experiences that you've had in your life, which is what you essentially bring to the table.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me realise that, you know, when you're in a room of people at work, like, everyone has unique experiences, so everyone is bringing some kind of different value, and that really helped me to kind of reframe, I guess, that kind of mindset, and it certainly helped me. It was definitely a switch for me, that exercise. And, you know, not just, you know, I'm now basically, I feel as comfortable with what I don't know as what I do know, and it's kind of like reminding myself that, you know, not just me, but everyone I'm around has their own unique experiences, and therefore everyone certainly has their own value that they're bringing to the table.
I think it's a really interesting one, and so many people. Often this experiment of the stories takes people a little bit longer than the week some of the others take, because it's quite deep, isn't it? You're looking at where you've come from, who you are, where you're heading to, and that experience. You know, the people on this program were doing it a couple of weeks ago and talking about it last week, is actually remembering all the stuff that you've done. And really thinking about that stuff, because so often we just kind of move onwards and onwards and onwards without really recognizing where we've come from and all the things that we've learned. And maybe there's some skills that you forgot that you had that you don't talk about anymore. There's so many benefits to having that conversation. So really loving that. And then tell me a little bit around, because so many people tell me when we talk about the program, they're like, oh, I'm a bit nervous about the group sessions and it being like 7 other random people who I've never met before from different areas. Tell me about that experience for you.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I guess I knew a couple of people already on the program, so it wasn't that daunting. But no, it's good. I think, you know, you kind of run a lot of breakout sessions and try and mix up each time, so you get to know different people in the group. And then obviously there was some tasks where we kind of buddy up with people as well outside of it. So no, I think it was fine. It wasn't daunting to me, and I enjoyed it, and obviously meeting new people. And then I just want to say that the club WorkJoy now is amazing. By the way, I know you talked about it earlier, but like for me, also I know there's people on the cohort that are on the club WorkJoy as well, but I've had just in the last couple of weeks alone just so much value out of that. So just thanks for putting that together. Like literally, like the network of people in that group, that if you've got a problem you're trying to work for, or whatever it might be, and quite instantaneously, you could be working on something, trying to get a piece of work out that you're struggling with, and in that moment, if 2 minutes later someone's giving you some advice, and it just, I won't go into detail about what I asked for advice on last week, but the advice you gave me, and I think it was Stephen as well.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it helps so much.
I'm so glad you said it, because one of the things that I've had in my head since thinking about WorkJoy and what to be doing around it is the power of people together, and everyone not being an expert in something, but everyone being an expert in something else. And actually, that call out you put out there, and there's been lots of people doing like, what do I do about this? And helping each other and supporting each other with ideas is a big part of what I think can bring us all loads of WorkJoy, that connection with other people. And I'm really excited, but I'm loving it. Like 3 weeks in, people ask me great questions. I do little videos. We have the speakers, which are going to start. And the other thing we're going to do is actually the networking sessions. So every other month, come and join, facilitated networking. So I'll be talking you through what, the stuff. So it's not that awkward. Hi, what do I say to this person? And you're like, I don't know what to do. So yeah, I'm really excited and to see that grow. And we've got, I think, probably about 40 members so far, and we're only a few weeks in. So really looking forward to growing that network too. Tell me a little bit more, going back to kind of the WorkJoy Way program. Tell me a little bit more about what it's been. What has it been? It's been quite a few months since you finished the program. When was it?
I think we finished end of last year, no?
Yeah. So it's been 9-10 months since the end of the program. And I'm always really interested, because at the end of something like this, you always get excited because you've done loads of work on it and it's there. What's been the longer term impact for you?
That's a really good question, because I already touched upon it, but it's been a mindset shift. So I think sometimes these things, like, you kind of sow seeds.
Yeah.
And obviously you, like, the program kind of gave me some tools, some tactics to kind of, even things like, setting your 3 priorities for the day. And if you achieve those at the day, at least you achieve, you achieve those, and you still feel sense of satisfaction, even other things come your way that kind of railroad you. But or for me, it was one of the things that I got joy out of was when I actually put in deep work time, and sometimes that would be 7 till 9 in the morning, because that's what I couldn't get any 2 hours a day to do that. And I did that for a time, but I don't do that anymore. I know it's there, and I can do it for a day or so if I need to.
Yeah.
It worked for me. But the flip of that was I was still working late. It wasn't it was just that meant I can get.
It didn't take away the other stuff.
It just meant go back time to the stuff I needed to do. But so I think so having those kind of tools to lean on, but also just generally like I said, a mindset shift over time. I've definitely felt it this year. I'm just way more relaxed when something kind of comes onto my desk that I wasn't planned for. I'm much more level-headed about it, and I think the program was kind of like the instigator of that, essentially.
Brilliant. So I love to hear that. It's like that. Actually, the mindset then helps you to maybe do some of the stuff that you need to do when you need to do it, but not necessarily doing all those things all the time. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad to hear it's had because it's one of those things with track and keep in touch with people and know where you've got to, but hearing that it's still having an impact now, kind of 9-10 months down the line, makes me really super happy about it. So when you're thinking about the program, and I'm thinking about next year, I'm going to do 2 programs. I'm going to do one starting in February, one starting in September. I'm going to have a maximum of 8 people on each of them, so there's 16 places. Who would you recommend would be thinking and kind of giving me a call and having a chat about whether this is the right program for them?
For me, this program it's got a unique angle, right? It's not, I think it's different to any other program I've been on before. It helps you to, you really go deep, and using that space to do so. And even like the goal setting exercise, it wasn't just a typical smart goal setting exercise. Like you really, like, you know, it was about understanding why that, you know, why that goal is your setting is important to you. Like, what is it going to allow you to do in future? What are the hurdles as well? Like, it's a different way of kind of like framing goal setting, and even that, like, in itself was something I hadn't done before. But I think you know, people are always developing, right? Whether you know it or not, every day you're developing and learning something new. But I think, you know, I would say that, but I think the program like WorkJoy obviously fast tracks that a little bit for a period of time to kind of, you know, really kind of take the time out to kind of understand where you're at, what's making you tick, what's not, and almost like a reset, to be honest with you. I think it really depends on the individual. It depends what everyone's goals are going to be different. Everyone's stage in their career or in their current role will be different. And you know, my you know, for me, it was about, you know, I was happy in my role, but it was like managing, how do I get the most out of it? How do I get most out of my time? How do I manage my stress essentially better? But everyone's goals could be different. But I genuinely, I'm not just saying this, I think the program is wide enough for like, you know, anyone to benefit from it. Depending, you know, whatever their goal are, the exercises are quite, well, I don't want to say they're broad, they're very specific to tease things out. But you know, they're not specific to like an industry or something like that. So it's very individual. It's very much about you and your kind of who you are. And sort of, I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well or answer that question very clearly, because my answer is like anyone really. I think the thing is that you know, you obviously there's like, you know, companies run development programs, you know, they're not necessarily always accessible to everyone. So this is something that is like really accessible. I think the value is not just during the course, as we talked about, it's beyond that. It's the network, it's the club joy. And you kind of become part of that. And I think, you know, I don't think you can put a price on that kind of stuff, because I'm getting loads of value still out of it post having finished the course a year ago. So
brilliant. And something that I just, when you were talking about that, is about making it accessible. One thing I commit to is on every single program, I give it one space, completely free, to somebody who wouldn't usually be able to access that kind of development. So it's fully sponsored. So what I will do in the new year is to put a post out there and say, like, come and see if you want to be part of this. You have to provide me with like a one-pager or a video or something creative that tells me how you would make the most of the opportunity. But I'm really big on, there are a lot of people who can't do programs like this, and I want to be able to widen that net a little bit, so it's something that I can do and offer as part of it. So that scholarship place will be out there ready for both courses, so one on each next year. So if you are interested, if you're watching this and you want to know now what to do, just drop me a line and we can talk about what you need to do to get there as well. So Rachel, thank you so much for joining in and having this conversation. It's been lovely to hear where you are 10 months later and that it's still helping you. It's great to have you as part of Club WorkJoy. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we finish off?
No, just like a massive thank you to you, without embarrassing you. But yeah, you've been, obviously I know we go back some time, but yeah, you've always been so forthcoming, you know, in and out of the program, and helpful. And I know that I can, like, you know, call you anytime if I needed help with anything. So thank you for sharing your expertise and put it into this program. It's been great.
Oh, thank you. I'll try not to be embarrassed by it, because it's nice to hear it when people say nice things. I'm not very good at taking positive feedback, but I'm going to take it and say thank you. And to say what I always talk about is kind of, once you're in my squad, like, you don't get to escape it, so you're part of it now. And I think that's also where the Club WorkJoy comes in. It's like, there's going to be this, hopefully, really great continuing community of amazing things. And obviously we've got chat session on Friday. If you're up for joining, just go to clubworkjoy.com and there's a sign up button there. You can join in. Once you're in, you can sign up to all the events. You can ask me anything once a week and I'll give you an answer. I'm not an expert in everything, but I'll give you a perspective on something. Different speaker every week, and then obviously the networking sessions as well. So really excited. Thank you so much, Rachel. It's been lovely talking to everybody. Keep listening to the podcast. Come join Club WorkJoy. If you're interested in the WorkJoy way, email me, hello@createworkjoy.com. We can set up a 30-minute, let me just talk to you about the program, talk to me about you, and have that conversation to see if it's something you are interested in. And maybe in a year's time, you could be on here having a conversation about the impact it's had on you. But you don't have to do that. That's like a voluntary thing. But it would be lovely to see you all there. So thank you, Rachel. Have a lovely evening, and I will speak to you soon. I'll see you Friday in the club.
See you Friday. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.